Taring the Kyabje Gyang Rinpoche Yangsi Gonglo Chukji la Tete da Chungkal de Dechen da Pene ne number so de la Khentrul Dharma tene Kyabje Shivar Sheba ku Komal ge Loma Tang ne Komal Tang Dewa Yukhen Tamsi Kanji Tone ne Rancho Pensu Dreten Dharma Shata ji de Phe de Yore today do ne Tambo ne Tama Tomar Pengen number Tomala Negi da Jamba lay down Tashi Dele Shuin.
So now we have finished conferring this long life empowerment from the Konchuchiji. Then all of you who have gathered here, all of we are some related, and we have kept the pure Samaya. We belong to the one mandala of our Holiness Penor Rinpoche. So that's why you all have gathered here, and especially to why we have gathered here is to celebrate the 11th birthday of Yangsi Rinpoche, and so that we have done it, and it's very went successful. Then all of you who have gathered here, and remembering your Lama, and then come together as one Dharma family. So I would like to extend Tashitele and thank you everyone for gathering here on this very auspicious day.
Tene that Kyabje Kukoma Shivar Sheba Ge da Loju ane Thamje Ge Manchen Ke Yomare Thamje Ge Hakodan Koshimbare ina da Tadandela Du Sejima Shuaina Tene Kyabje Rinpoche da Umi Yombala Chongchene ane Drubwang Kunting Kongma Ge Yangsi Rinpoche Nang Tene Pei Gombala Denden Shune Rabal Lomye Da ne Tosam Gomsum Nang ne Tene Ngabchu da Agulo la Bela Tunjur Gi Chengi ane Ngaranzo da Chino Onsa Changwen Jabo Jerombo Thamji Chinji Ziwa Chimbo Cho Da Dega Najin Ngaranzo Begi Chichengi La Chen Mambo Chi Da De Najin Chena Ngaranzo Da Kyabje Drubwang Rinpoche Na Yang Da Kume Uje Pada Noba Chi Na Ne ane Kyo Gomba Ne ane Tunjur Gi Chengi Jagar Phaubi Yo La Shabsur Khoba Des.
Then, of course, all of you know the biography of late Holiness Penor Rinpoche, but just to give you a brief biography of our Holiness. So he was born in the Pema region in the southwest of Tibet, and then from then at a very early age he was recognized as the incarnation of Drubwang Rinpoche, and then he went to Palyul and went through all these trainings, studies and practices, and then as you all know that because of the change of time in Tibet, then all the Tibetans and the high lamas like His Holiness Dalai Lama and all they had to come to exile in India, and so they had to go through all those hardship and then come to exile in India.
That the legi Tizuchila ne Manamba Sungre Skap Tidulata Moshing and Dita Sadan Tamadumeva De Geneta Jagar Papi Yola Shabsur Ko and Eta Öki Sajata Ragio Mare Saja Tawa Sabo de Gana Jinjene Shelata and Chudan Kanji Tune Matune Mambo Kange Chunga Sambu Maze. That the day in the Kyabje Gyang Rinpoche Chaja Soina Unetane Kore Lata Nyingma Chigi, that Shela Chue Yumegi, that Mu Yume, the Deji Chade Yona Yang, and Maranso Chue Gang, Rijun de, and Zambulin Chila Pento Yoba, Hajangi, De Yamchasu Soina, Pemasi, 정규 첨보 연구여가 지게 아니 템베 메로 데다 시가 라모텔라 짭제 rinpoche 오늘 전에 꿈에 오제 나네다 남로는 검바 코레라 창을 매나야 미자라 야다 레제는 검바 차답 라나진 데나라 타발 넘게 나야데 마랑 저 최다의 좀 미냠 공패 냠바 소슈기 체도 레제는 다 꿈에 오제 빠도면 바지 남네 다다 다 남로는 대사세디 레제는 차다네 중샤와 지베.
Then when they flee from Tibet, that time all of them they had to go to this strange the land that they never knew, and then they had no friends. Only thing that they know was just the state in the Tibetan. Just the earth and the space. Other than that, sky, they didn't know anyone. Anyhow, then they had to come to exile in India, and that time, because of the change of climate, because of the water, and then the lifestyle, the food, and everything. So they went through all these difficulties during that early time. Around after 59, and then gradually then they were able to settle in India. And that time then our Holiness Penor saw that to uphold the Buddha Dharma and the culture, then it is very important to have a center to study and practice. So that's why he set up Namdoling Monastery. So that time he didn't have any kind of money or economically strong. So he had to borrow money from all this everywhere, and then went through all those hardships, knowing that it is very essential to uphold the Buddha Dharma and also the cultural tradition, and then in that way then he was able to set up a center which could revive Buddha Dharma. And nowadays, now what we hear as the center of Buddhist studies and practice and meditation, then we have just now the Namdoling Monastery in South India.
Teneta Gomban Dina Kang Kengi Kaptuta, Kembo Logan say Hajango Yunu Lama Tabata, Res Itirama Yoma Tenegita, Kane Kasabure, Hajangi, Kamba Yanguich Chadeva De, Tata Jajan was Rick Meo Jenan and Tati Bardota, Kembo Tenshawa, Chibula Samatanso and Sumja, Jaju Yamata. The Ganajin, Lovella Samatanso and Peji Chidon Mabjat. That the Ganajin Moranto Sanji Temba. 아니 또 지송비 차례 도와라라 레기어데 에지 가란조 검바 찍고 나라다 게소는 좀만 저 루자와라 제자 하자다 그러나지 그러다 야마 젠다 칼 루자와 제자와나 게소는 찍고 라 치타 데파 데 루자와다 상지 템바라 오늘 간에 샤도 하장도 주자와지 덴지기 제우지 차되거래.
Then that time there were very few monks, and then of course very few Khenpos and teachers who could teach. Still then he let Holiness work so hard, and gradually he was able to set up the Namdoling Monastery and then the Buddhist college. So now we can so from there many the Khenpos have graduated, almost 380 Khenpos have graduated from the institute. And in terms of Lopen, about 1,500 of them have graduated. And then also our Holiness gave many ordinations of the Shavakas and bhikshus, and all of them in India, maybe more than 8,000 of them, and elsewhere he was giving this the ordination, the monks vow, because it is very to uphold the Buddha Dharma, then to have all those ceremonies and the practices of the Vinaya is very important. So that's why he was giving this the monks ordination elsewhere all over the world, and then he has given hundreds and thousands of ordinations to the monks and nuns, and in that way then he was able to benefit the sentient being and the Buddha Dharma.
Today, so do doing Sheva na, and Alanzo, that is Terry me, and a Kobe in Hinka Wuchuba, Alanzo, Kawa Kanjengi, Jamne, Consa Jangun Chambo Chogi in Ayang, and a Consa Jangun Chambo Chogi Salne, and then Monetane, Judge Penor, which is the any Chudan, Rijun Tola, Monetane, Alanzo Bergi, Chuda, Rijun Ya Travis Ausula. Monetane, same shoe, Jabjene, Gange, Karasore, Tarjene, and a Chudan, Rijuna, Pema, cutting Chambo Yin, Sone, and Yang Song Devada, the Ganajan, Komina, Monetane, Tizu, Yantawa, the Lil Kavla, Aransola, and a Gange, Damanda, Mambuchi Teva, the Kompe Masin, Tembuchin, Yahuchin, US, and Consa Jangun Chambo Chogi, Naya, Monetane, Tabjun, Chudan, Rijuna, cutting Chambo Yimba. And it don't have it. I told them, and China number to be changed to this. Today, in young Ranzo, Buggy told some of us why no one at an Tabjitoni, which is the Halley, should have resumed to it. And a cutting chamber in body, but he said to this.
Then, how you know that he has done so much to preserve Buddha Dharma and also the culture that, like the eye and the soul of the Tibetan, all the Tibetan is the Holiness, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He also praises our Penor Rinpoche, saying that even though when we went through all those difficult times, then he was very stubborn, very steadfast, and then because of his hard work and dedication, he was able to maintain and propagate the Buddha Dharma and the culture, and likewise, so he was even praised by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So that alone is enough to say that he has done so much to propagate Buddha Dharma and also to continue the culture and the traditions.
That energy in Aransogi, Himalaya, Chu Jiba, Negi Jiba, Ligita, Tola in Ayam, Kadin Chimboyimba, and a Penang Aranso, Tanda Drub Chudengi, Jacob, any Drub Chu Javo, and a Chujar Shanju Samba, Dujar Jivare, the Ganaji, Dujar Jivigi, Mayum, the Ganajinta. Corona Gitanda, Neam de Mayum Mala in Aya, and it do Chujar, Chanju Sambigita, Jeva, and Duja, Nabaina, do Temakaji, J. Jones, Konabagina, Monetane, Kyabje Gyang Khang Rinpoche, Mazundula, Mazin, Kadin Chambo Yin, Sune, Konabagita, Digi Yang Song, Aranso, Kyabje Gyang Ne, Castle, Bird, Mayan Bala, and do Jakabla in Aya, Kadin Chambo Yimba, and take shit to race.
And then not only in the Tibetan, but also like we have the same Dharma, the same written script. Then the whole Penor Rinpoche was also praised by the fourth king of Bhutan, who is the Bodhisattva Dharma king, praising that how much he has done for the Buddhists and the Buddha Dharma in Bhutan. And he is also praised by the Queen Mother of Bhutan. And just before the pandemic, I had the opportunity to visit the fifth king of Bhutan, who is also a great Dharma king, Bodhisattva. So I heard from his own words that how much Penor Rinpoche has benefited Bhutanese and the propagation of Buddha Dharma in Bhutan and among Bhutanese. So this too is also a great kind of sign that how Penor Rinpoche was able to benefit the Buddha Dharma in Bhutan and likewise in the Himalayan region.
Then I think that my and Tamsamada, Palyul Lumbala Druyo, the Palyul Maranzo Yanchuda and Rigdzin Düpa, Pena Mirila Sheso and Sharba, Shaganaji, Norbu, then I think energy Tamang, any Yolmo, Nishang, then I think Karsore, Tapandar Maransoda, that is Chudan, Rigdzin Düpa in Kenya, Mirik Mambu Saja, Mirik Tenzoga in Monetane, Kyabje Rinpoche, Gombane, Kanyong Kangi, Kembore, Robere, Tenzo Mambuchi, Manzu Lumbala, and Chu, Manchu, Motere, the Ganaji, Nimang, Yangtatsola, and Labda Tuere, Oda Rorana, Pemazin, Kadin Chambo Yins and Paransoge, Kadituna, and Pembo Yinanda. Missy Juma in Anda, Tamjeta, my soul panel with the cutting temple ins and shade of Chada, the Chadi doors, the day in this. Palyul Lumbala Sanatanso and Japan with the Pema, and cutting temple Chadi.
Then I also sometimes go to Nepal, and there also all those, even the common people, and then those who are in the office, the dignitaries, they also say that how much His Holiness Penor Rinpoche have helped them, like because of all those campos and the teachers and the monks that have graduated from Namdolin monasteries, because in Nepal there are many ethnic groups like Sherpa, Tamang, Nisham, and Dorje, and all those region people. We have the same religion. We also have the same script. So then all of the, so when I go to Nepal, then there are all those people who are again saying that Penor Rinpoche has helped them so much. So there are people who are giving them the guidance and introduction to Buddha Dharma. They have set up the temples, monasteries, and not only that, they to benefit the underprivileged children. Then they have also set up many schools. So in that way, then we hear the praise from all those the people of various walks of life from Nepal, also saying that Penor Rinpoche has helped them a lot.
Teganaji, Maranzo, Jagal, Lumbala Chasha, Pema Kure, Teganaji, Mengi Lumbare, Latare, Maranzo, Yanchu, Rigdzin Düpa in Mambuchi, then Najin, on a Kyabje Penor Rinpoche, Gomban, and Camboso, and Gombashi, Lobda Jare, Misela Chu, Lantern Chiere, Mangan Jare, Pemazi, Pendo Chambo Jones, and a Karanzo, the Penry, so to the Shigido, and Mrs. Sogana, Shigido, stay in it, and Jagala, you take Maranzo, the Himalaya, Jews, Maranzo, Chu, and Rigdzin Düpa, Tola, and I wanted on a Shabby Karisol, Shabby Hajan Jachambo, Chadi.
Then also in India too, like on the Arunachal Pradesh, the men Pema, and then Ladakh, and all these Himalayan regions where again we practice Tibetan Buddhism, and there too, and all those the people, and then the officials, they always say that Penor Rinpoche has really helped them to spread Buddha Dharma, teach them Buddhism, Buddha Dharma, and in that way, then they always praise late Holiness Penor Rinpoche.
then I see Sikkim race, and then around the church, I even cheap of Hawaii and I put on other with the glory color. Halam Manzu, you can both and again, and a Labdan Chingan, and today maintain never with the child race.
Then it's the same case with Sikkim in Sikkim too. And sometimes when I visit Sikkim, then there are all those Kempos, Lopins, and then the religious monks that have graduated, and then doing all those Dharma activities in Sikkim. So again, in that way, you can see how much the Penor Rinpoche have benefited to all those who follow the same religion and same culture.
And then that Kyabje Gyang Khang Rinpoche Aranzo Palyul Lama Zam Mayimba, Dechen Dumaje Nyingma Lama Zam Mayimba, Aranzo joyous Mayimba, and Himalaya Chöda Rigdzin Düpa Mune Kadin Chawa Kung Manzo Chigi Lama Davuji Chade Yores Mado Aranzo Palyul Nyingma Chigu Lama Davuji Chade Yores Kapidila, and then Tandanaji. Pinchayina and Bego Yomare, Lehavo Yomares, Kari Zoina, Pemasin Kale, Tongle Mambuji in the Rogoji, and Tata Nashinjini, Rigi, Tembi Mero, Karu Barela, Lehavo Yomare, and Rigi, Kane Yukava, and Kungi Zevate, and the Chang Nawajawate, Aranzo Samagi, and a Jesu, Iran Chego, and Yang Yande, Jangwe, Dechen Düpa, and a Chanzo, Lomatsogi, Samlo Kadina, Majebaji, Dechen Bure.
In that way, then you should understand that Penor Rinpoche is not just the Lama of Palyul, not just the Lama of the Nyingma. So in fact, then you can see that he was the upholder of Buddha Dharma in the entire region of this Himalayan region, Tibet, India, and all these places. So then this is how he was able to continue the culture, Buddha Dharma and all this. And it is not like nowadays. Nowadays, there all these material things are, the developments are there, so maybe easier. But at that time, when Penor Rinpoche was establishing all these centers of the learning, the institutes and the monasteries, so it was very difficult. Still then, facing these difficulties, facing these challenges, so he was able, keeping in his mind solely how he can revive the Dharma, how he can make it continue in this world and to benefit the people. So he worked tirelessly during that very difficult time, and because of that reason, then we can see the results that he was able to produce. So in that way, you should never forget your Lama and see how he has done so much of beneficial enlightened activities to benefit us.
Hari Lumbala Chacha Soina, Kyabje Rinpoche, Tama Mambo Payore, the Ganajin, Tenzu Wayang, Songyore, Namchu Wayang, Songyore, Rigita, Lama Kori, Zabala, some dozen, one and Zaba Jachambo, to Zuyu Mendraji Chagio, the Dadon and Toronto, the TJ, Arida, the Devi Dukala, one and two Zawachimbo, Tenzu Wang Songere, Namchu Wang Songere. Tanda to say that Kale Kabu is the song to get in the Kyabje Rinpoche and Toronto, then the TJ, Ari Cho, Bob Metzola, and the two good judge and Bonane, and it's Songere, Ganajan, Chikaranzo, upstate, the Chuzore, the Zotamje, and Anatane, Charanzo, Mrs. Sola, Pay down, Purgi Chute, and it's Kyabje Rinpoche, any Manzu Namba Chute, the Tachambo in Savata Mayimba, and then Namba the Chute, and it's Karasavore. Penang Aranzo, Tata to Zola, some of them so I am, and it's Norbu Yagje Denzo Rik, Chatang de, and a Goba Chengende, and some low chigurs. They ended that some low Goba Cheng, some low chigurs, they ended some low Zoju Gyangkhang, and Aranzo Nambi Chudi, some low Zoju Jatu your race, Nambi Chug, love them with Tone, Aranzo Sambakang said to you, and then Chudi. 다지 남바 이미 요마를 탐제를 구해지인데 다 들리기 보내나 Kyabje Rinpoche 나요 아니 다 지제라 저랑서 판매네 취주 다 남바 이나 매나요 아니 지 되게 팬도 용도여 봐 공대 내가 추조 주에 또 탐제 다 나셔가지고 그 맛이 아니 원하는 나랑서라 까진 첨보래.
Then regarding to America, Penor Rinpoche have visited many times, and then he have conferred Rigdzin empowerment, Nangche empowerment, and like that, all those profound empowerments he have, during those times it was very difficult, yet then he was able to confer all those profound empowerments. Not only that, he also established this Dharma center, like in the upstate New York, Palyul. So in that way, so that is also to maintain Buddha Dharma and also the culture and tradition. So in that way, he has set up all this Dharma center. And why you may be thinking that this Dharma is very important is because we see this in the external material world is progressing. So how that progress is possible is through your intellect or through your mind. And then if that is the case, then how you can train your mind, how you can make the mind most beneficial, useful, and train the mind is the Buddha Dharma. So seeing that importance of the Dharma, the training of the mind, and keeping that in mind. So it is not only that the Dharma is necessary for those who are born to the Buddhist culture and the Buddhist tradition. So it's not that it is anyone, if you are able to use the Dharma, practice the Dharma, definitely it can bring benefit to you. So that is why then Holiness Penor Rinpoche had put so much effort, time and energy to spread the Dharma in this part of the world too.
This song that Naranso Lama Chong Rinpoche Denaji and Sharon Jong Sharon Jai Yongwa Dang One Kongi Jinju Yimbate and Naranso Tamje Sonam Chembore.
So now, such a great teacher, then we were able to meet him and then be able to receive his teaching and then be his follower. So you should really recognize it as you are very fortunate to have such a great opportunity.
Kongi Shingla Peneta Loju Ta the Dorje de Hina Kyabje Rinpoche Yangsi Norwa Trua Meva and Naranso Tung Teneta Biogula Ju Tadaina Gonglo Juji the Pene and Kyabje Kamakuchen Rinpoche so Zilnon Jene and Baba Lomier Naere Person Gonsu Naere at the Tamje Pemasin Naranzo Tama and then Sendre Chemogoa and Tamje Lodi which in the day trade Chade they are Maranzo Sonam race.
Then of course he passed on more than a decade, and now we have his Yangsi Rinpoche, who is authentic, the true incarnation, and now he is now have reached the age of 11, and then His Holiness Karmakuchen Rinpoche is completely taking care of him, his education and all his needs, so we can just relax and think that we are so fortunate to be able to recognize the Penor Rinpoche's Yangsi incarnation, which is of a great treasure to us, and in that way you should relax and rejoice over that being able to find a true incarnation of Penor Rinpoche.
Then that Kyabje Rinpoche, that Singla Penang, Lochu Ha, Royo, De, Ina, that Kyabje Rinpoche, and Temba, that Royo, and they so de, and Aranso, Namdoling Gamba, De, Tony, that Temba down, and Aranso, Regionla, that Shabishu, de, Chadi, and Kyabje Rinpoche, Singla Pet, Jela, Ina, and so that Kyabje Kamako Rinpoche, Kalo Lamtang, and the Musang Kuchen Rinpoche, Ganajin, Kenjan Pema Shiro, Kenjan Namdru, Kenjan Song Jamzo, Ganajin, and Gombagi, Junle Kare, and Cambo number, Lover number, around the Tama, Semshu, Chidi, Tone, Tada Yanaya, and Namdol and Gombande, Harjabje Rinpoche, Shari, Juwa Nashin, Chene, Muntune, that Tembata, Regiona, Shabishu, Pena. Gigan Chipula Samatang Soina, Maranzo Gombane, Lorella, Himalaya, Riju, Yama, Gigan, Tanguele, that can be Jibja, not just Simazim, the Dichine Tadaina, that Lorella, the Dichine Tadon, Gigan Taya, Mandane, the Dichine Tineta, Shavishu, the Shushi by Hens, the Indita, Taran Chalana Basama, the Kyabje Rinpoche, the Java, and then Shada, and the Chendo, which is the Transo Sananda, Chendo Chedu Sananda, and remember Sananda, and Alan Ganchi, you did in Channel of the tissue.
And then, even though he has passed on more than 10 years or so, still under the guidance of His Holiness Kuchen Rinpoche, His Holiness Muksang Kuchen Rinpoche, and then the three senior Kempos, Kempo Tewanzetsu, Kempo Sherap, and Kempo Namdru, and then all the Kempos, and then those who are working as the committee members, and then all those who, so now they are also trying to continue the legacy of Penor Rinpoche, and up to now you can see that then whatever was there established by Penor Rinpoche is still going on exactly like before then. So this is what we are all trying hard to keep his legacy going on, so that it can be a learning center and then be able to benefit all those who are related and who want to practice Buddha Dharma. So if you consider about how many teachers are being sent yearly around the Himalayan region, is almost close to 500 of those teachers are being sent yearly to all those monasteries and institutions for requests in the teacher from our Namduling monastery. So this is one of the examples. So as I have this responsibility, so I just narrated a brief biography of our Holiness, so that it's like a reminder to remind you of your teacher, how great, kind he was, and so that's why I narrated this short biography of Penor Rinpoche.
Nature so Mambuji, Kyabje Rinpoche, Shalom, and data, and they tell you nothing. Hakodu and Shendi and Mambuji, Juta, Tizanda, Trajaki, Lamindi, Shirata, Sugar, Madate, and Dita, Bridge Shushawanis.
So maybe some of you are worried how is Namduling doing and all this. In one sense, as we have all this internet, maybe you all are well informed about it. Yet, as I'm here, so I just shared this information to you all.
And then they are New York, Chacha, so and Zoda, Khentrul, Dorje, Zibigi, and then Kyabje Rinpoche, Shabre, Shamshu Nambagi, and it are really Chujo, so Kyabje Gyang Khang, and it other in Pema, Manyamba, and then Karizamale, Hawa, the Junda Junction by Chade, and the Anajin de la Kyabje Penor Rinpoche, Gambanata, Mama De Nyingma, Tazurdan, and Annie Subato and Unetane, Marangone, Chenamba Solana, Nyingma to the Cheshire, Pema Saint Hassan Gemetone, 오늘 레나고 요 말에 지단에 아메리카라 두세 건보래 아니 학벌도 라나 소소라다 우구요래 아니 남게 내가 제국으래 내가 나진 출로라다 내가 그러는 의소 우구래 되게 두세 빠네 매나야 가동 최소 나는 용 아니 뭐네 전에 되게 최다 리중 토라 점제는 뭐지 라 아니 지 하상 르메기 토네 오늘 전에 샤르슈난 게 아니 아주 넘버 해 넘버 상말라 나네 다른 단다 뭐가 네 주지네 탐제라 투지 체스는 쉬어이
then in terms of the New York City and then the centers around America, then we have this Campo and then all the attendants of our late Holiness, so they are being appointed as the lamas of all our centers. So in that way, then we are still, keeping this running, and especially I want to thank all our, the former monks and nuns of Namdoli Monastery who are here. I know that you all have, your own family to take care, and then in America especially the time is very rare. You don't have time and all this. Yet you are helping the center, taking this responsibility, and then really from the core of my heart, then I know how much you are doing for the center, and I would take this opportunity to thank all of you for your hard work and dedication and helping the centers here.
Hindi ta darin tesi chibudaji chasons hindi ta chijewa sola ne gongsen shue da ta bewaso na de gongshi cha de snanda yo.
So today we are a bit late. For Tibetans it's okay to get late, but the Westerners maybe I want to apologize to all those who have come here. So it took some time and getting late. Sorry for that.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.